I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, if I lose the fight, I still rage against the night. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer.
Hello. How are you doing tonight? I hope you're doing okay. I know I'm hanging in there. It's been a rough week. Holidays, man. Holidays are always crazy town. I would just as soon just not deal with them at all. That's kind of my preference. I do live. I'm alive. It's been, yeah. So last Friday, all of my family was here and I could not get away to stream as much as I wanted to. And then Monday night, oh man, my head was throbbing uncontrollably. It was pretty bad. So thank you for coming back, checking in on me and your well wishes. I appreciate it. I am here. I am feeling a little better and I'm ready to draw some doodles for you guys tonight. On the screen, we have the big wheel, the wheel of requests and challenges. I added the and challenges so that I could always make sure I have something on here if I run out of requests, which I'm getting close to doing. So currently on the wheel is the last bird nerd, a frog eating French fries, a roller skating and or skateboarding zebra. And then I have put for myself on here a handful of copies of A Beach Alien, where I will just draw one of the aliens that will be on the beach in the December art print. And the next creature in the 100 Creatures Challenge. If you haven't been seeing my shorts for the last couple of days, I started publishing them on Tuesday. Every few years, I like to revisit the Suitness 100 Creatures Challenge. It's like the first art challenge I ever did. And it's just a list of 100 things, like from vampires to, well, Shang-Chi, the bouncy vampires from China. So it's for all over the world, just different mythological folklore creatures. It's a pretty cool challenge. And I like to revisit it every once in a while. So I started doing that just to have an easy thing that I knew I was going to draw for the next 3 months, basically. So yeah, those are on the list also. And they're on the list a bunch of times, so they won't come off the wheel, but we'll see. I'm going to go ahead and spin and get started on the first thing. And it looks like we're going to start the night off with a beach alien. So if you are not familiar with the theme for the December Patreon set, the theme is, here's the one I want to turn on. Aliens in the ocean. It is, this is our print design idea is we're going to make a little beach scene and we're just going to fill it with a ton of aliens. So that's what a beach alien is it's an alien to go on our beach. So I'm just gonna start sketching one in. These guys are gonna be very low detail because there's going to be a ton of them on a beach. And you know what? We might as well start with our beach alien that is buried in a sand to look like a person. So we'll do a little head action. Our ocean aliens have pointy heads. They have little conical pointy heads. So we'll have that. And we'll have this come up like here. So we'll have the head sticking up out of the sand. And then we'll just come in. And I'm just going to do like a rough sketch of a muscly human physique, I guess. Here. That will then try to turn into like a sand statue body shape, I think, is the plan. So like, how do I want to handle this? Let me start by roughing in a little bit of perspective on how this is going to lay on the beach. That's probably a good place to start. Just undo everything we just did. And then put a little horizon line in here, a little beach line in here. Those are not going to be part of this sketch. I'm just going to basically export this image into the other one. So put the head coming up out of the sand is the plan here. And then we can do like a rough body shape coming down in the sand. I have no idea how I'm going to draw this. It's just a thing that came up quite frequently. No idea at all whatsoever what the best way to approach this is going to be. So I'm just gonna rough it, gonna wing it. I'm actually gonna look and see if I can find buried in sand sculpture, some kind of reference image. I like to work off of reference images whenever I can. And we'll see what I can come up with. I'm not hopeful here. Some really awesome sand sculptures. Don't know. Oh, that one's a doggy sticking it with his head sticking up. I'm going to use that as my reference image, even though it doesn't make any sense because it's a doggy head. It makes me happy. But it is a dog head sticking up out of a sand sculpture designed to look like a human body laying in the beach. So that helps, at least. And then the other thing I need to do is pull up my aliens. So let's see. What we want to do is we know this alien is going to be roughly shaped like this. So I'll just kind of rough in where its body pieces would be, you know, so we can have it lying there and then draw the sand around it, I guess is the best way to go. So maybe something like that is a pretty good way to do that. I don't think that's too bad. I'm going to blow it up though so I can work big, shrink it down. So let's see, images, Patreons, aliens in the ocean. I did not give them ears. I couldn't remember if I gave them ears or not. I don't know if the alien designs are working, if my algorithms are working but hard, but I keep seeing a rise in reports of sightings too. Oh. I have no idea. I think that the crazier the world gets, the more we're just going to see stuff like that going on. And the world is getting pretty crazy. I don't want to get into too many of the things that is crazy going on in the world because mostly they're depressing. And I don't want to be depressing. But definitely some more crazy zaniness, troublingness going on tonight. So let's see. Hasselhoff had a square jaw, but he was unique. So we'll do a little rounded jaw action. It could also just be the algorithm. I mean, we tend to, as a society, go through these kind of phases of mass hysteria, so to speak, where just like we get more reporting with Bigfoot or aliens. Yeah, everything is insanity right now, even today, Ellen. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I had a relatively productive day today. The CEO to United Healthcare was basically assassinated. The French government collapsed. Yes, I wasn't going to bring those things up. You know, I was gonna try to remain positive, but yeah. A second major EU nation has had its government collapse. And I don't want to attribute any kind of motivation to the shooter at this point in time, but I'm a little worried that our class warfare war has begun. My day was fine. The world is on fire. Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the reasons I was so productive today was because I saw that the world was on fire and basically was like, yeah, I better nope out of that, and got off the internet. And so I spent most of the day actually just doing work, drawing. Also, it's my brother's birthday, and he's old today. So I made a cartoon for him. I'm just kind of trying to do like a rough, like this is how a sand body looks kind of thing here. This is very new, different type of art for me. So if anyone's wondering what I'm doing, there's no technique here. It's just madness. I was saying something similar about if the CEO story was one time thing or just the start of a thing. Yeesh. New job and a birth. Yeah. And he caught whatever was going around at our family gathering over the weekend. So he's pretty under the weather too, which is great when you're starting a brand new job. So hopefully he's doing all right. We'll keep thoughts and prayers for him. Keep the good vibes sending his way. I know he actually is feeling bad enough that he canceled his streams the last couple of days too, so. Yeah, really all I'm doing is hashing in some like lines to give myself an idea of shape, because I think I'm going to do this the way I did the sand on our aliens stickers. I'm going to just kind of flat this in orange and then go in and add noise to it in Affinity Photo. That's that's kind of the idea. I just need from my observation, there are two types of artists. This is purely anecdotal, but I feel like a lot of artists see this. There are doodlers and there are splatterers. And doodlers, I'm a doodler. I see the world in clearly defined lines. Like I see the outlines of things before I see anything else. I have to really work to do like negative space kind of studies, stuff like that. I suck at painting. And then there are artists who are splatterers. They are painters, and they see the world as these melting shapes, and I just don't see it that way. My brain likes detailed hard lines. That's just one of those things. And I think I think that's a fairly true statement of those two types of people exist as far as the art world is concerned. But I do think there's some stuff I can do in the meantime to make this work the way I want it to work. I can work with just what's the word I'm looking for here? Color lines with color. So instead of just always using black lines, you know. And again, this is one of our hundreds of beach aliens. So I don't want to go too heavy-handed into detail here. Anyone who's watching this who is not familiar with the concept, I'm basically trying to make a Where's Waldo scene and just drawing one little alien at a time until I am feel like the beach is full. And for me, it's gonna go a lot smoother if I do it this way. If I do one alien, export it with a transparent background, and then import it into the file in Affinity Photo and work that way. Or maybe even in Designer, so I'm working entirely in vector. It will just give me more control over what I'm trying to do and keep my file size, individual file sizes down, so I don't end up with insanely large files, you know, as happens sometimes. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come and I'm going to grab this orange, and I'll do a little darker orange maybe. And instead of using black line art, I'll use this orange, dark orangish brown line art. And just kind of real rough. Ooh, actually, you know what? I could even do, oops, not that big, like a jitter brush to keep it real rough. Putting projects on the wheel is very clever. It gives work smarter, not harder vibes. That's what I'm trying to do. And then it also doesn't put all of the onus on the audience to come up with prompts in a live stream. If no one's feeling it, I've got plenty of stuff to work on. I definitely have a bunch of other things I could add to it if I need to, if that comes up. So it's really taking responsibility for myself and just doing some things. Also, I was a little like, I have definitely been procrastinating. Hello, I hope you're having a good evening. I have definitely been procrastinating on working on this particular project. And I know it's going to take a lot of hours to get it done. So I just needed kind of a kick in the pants to get started on it. But I kind of like the way this jitter effect is working to do these lines. I think it's going to look good, especially once I go in and add noise to this sand also. And I'm going to bring this around like that. I think it'll look really good with that noise added back in. How are you doing tonight, Leo? I hope you're having a good night. I hope everything's going crazy good for you. I saw your shop pics in the Discord. That was pretty cool. I we'll probably try taking some before and afters as we're doing the workout here in the garage to get it up and running. I bought a giant truck. You bought a giant truck? That's cool. What type of truck did you buy? I'm very curious. That's my house. I will show you my garage. It is like a full fab shop. Oh, that's cool. I think mine will actually become less and less office and more like full apartment. It's really broken. So I'm going to add orange like so. Now I'm on the beach. I'm at the beach. I'm at the beach. An excursion. Cool. I think I'm going to have to go back to my aliens and see. I don't have them saved on my iPad right now. I don't know what shade of green these colors are, so I'm gonna have to pull up some one of them, I guess, and see if I can't figure it out. I guess it's not that big a deal if I don't make it be. That's not quite right. That is definitely not the right shade of green, but oh well. It'll be fine. Okay. I don't know how I feel about this at all right now. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm not actually a very good artist. I'm gonna try adding some shade now. And we'll set that as a reference layer. And try multiply. Oops, not you multiply, that one multiply. There we go. Okay. Yeah. I might not be the most technically skilled artist, but I have recently had other artists tell me that they wish they were as prolific as I was. So it's like, I might not be very technically skilled, but I'm fast. I draw fast. Jerk brain. Yes, I know. That's why I was trying to find a horn tootin'. Jerk brain got pretty gnarly on me this week. I'm trying to figure out how, like, the best way to tell the story for people who are not ever at the market. I had a hard flip trigger this week at the market. Basically, my entire setup blew away in the wind. It just blew away, and my brain just shut down almost immediately. It just went into you're useless and you're never going to amount to anything mode. Jerk brain took me hard, and it took me fast, and it took me a little while to recover from it. And I'm very thankful for the people there at the market for not letting Jerkbrain shut me down entirely, because let me tell you, I was basically ready to light my booth on fire and just walk away from the entire business. I'm like 0% artistic, 100% technical. What was I gonna say there? I lost my train of thought. I'm a not a very good technical like realism artist. I need to work on it more because they're fundamentals that you really should have when you're trying to make a living as an artist. Like, it's important to have those fundamentals. I just don't. I need to work on them more. I have the time. I have free time. I have time to work on fundamentals. I should do it more. Now that I've added some shading to this sand body, it does look a little better in my mind. But I don't know. I'm like also trying to remind myself that like this is still way bigger than it will actually be in the final image. Like, this is gonna be tiny little dude. Thankful for people at the market for bringing you back. I very much appreciate everybody. Like, it was hard, and I'm very glad that people were there looking out for me and reminding me about Jerkbrain and the fact that Jerkbrain is a jerk. Oh, dang it. I forgot to do the line art as its own layer. So I have to come in here and draw all of the edges, not just the outside edge of the shadows. It was hard. It was hard day. And then I love my family. I do not want to come off and make it sound like I don't love my family. But it is hard, really, really, really hard for me to function when my schedule is really messed up and thrown off, and personal space is invaded, and it's hard to host like a Thanksgiving feast at your home with that many people without them invading your personal space or throwing off your schedule. So it was like the weekend was just hard all around. That being said, I love my family, and we played a new game to me at least, called Code Word. And it is this really cool like board game card game where you have a 25 square grid, a 5x5 grid that has words on it, and you have, when you're the spy master, you have a team member across from you, and you get to say like one word and try to get them to guess the words on the grid that match your one word, like as many of them as you can before your opponent does the same, and fill out a pattern. It was really cool. I had a lot of fun playing that. I was really good at it. You have it streamed in a week, so you get extra big pass for anything distracting while balancing, drawing, and talking to us. Thank you. I'm doing my best. I'm really not good at it. It's not a strong talent skill of mine. Like, I love talking. I love drawing. Finding a good balance between the two on the stream can often be challenging. I find it a skill that a lot of people have to cultivate through practice over time, and I hope I'll get better over time. But I very much am in I don't want to say envy. I don't want to say I envy people with the skill, but I am impressed by people with that skill. It's crazy. But how about this oops, not dark in color. No, you're going the wrong way. Let's see if we get some overlay, maybe soft light. There we go. Soft light on that this sand dude. Little rim light action there on the other side. Little sand pockets. That looks good. I like that. I think that looks great. Am I doing a really bad job tonight of talking and drawing at the same time? Am I completely all over the place? Because I often am. Yeah, so that game was a lot of fun. It's a sand alien teddy bear. There we go. Well, I found a picture of a dog like laying on a sand sculpture of a body, and that's basically exactly what it looks like, except for it's a little doggy head instead of a little alien head. So that is the first drawing of the night. I'm gonna call that the first drawing. Again, no, not doing a bad job. You're just yelling at yourself earlier. Oh, yes. I tend to do that. I don't want to give too much detail into this guy because, again, this alien will be teeny tiny on that print and the detail will fade away. And these are 8x10 prints, so it's going to be extra small, you know. So we don't want to go too much detailing. That's about perfect. Some of these colors might have to be fixed, but I will work on that in off time. I have the color palette for my aliens in Affinity Photo, so I can just go in and recolor. So yeah, one in the can, and we're only a half hour in. I am going to try really hard to stick to 2 hours tonight. That's another thing is I'm trying to, talking about my schedule, I'm trying to force myself back into a good sleep schedule and not staying up all night. So, you know, that kind of thing. I have a technical question. I got a Cricut. Is there a better program that I don't have to pay for? I don't know what's I use a Cameo, Silhouette Cameo 4. So I don't use a Cricut. There is some free and open source cutter software out there. I have not gotten it to work with my machine yet, but I haven't really tried. I know some people who run a Silhouette Cameo on Linux, and it is the only software that's available on Linux, so it has to work. I'll see if I can pull up exactly what it's called. What is it called? I might have to get back to you off the stream, but there is an open source CNC cutting, like vinyl cutting machine cutter. And like, it's actually the software that like a Vevor cutter uses. I use the alarms on my phone for things like that. You can set an alarm for around 1.5 to 1.75 hours so you can wind it down. Yes, that's probably not a bad idea at all. But I'll see. I'll do some research and get back to you on the Discord, because there is an open source software. Yeah, I set an alarm to eat lunch now too, because for the same reason is I'm bad at just time management, especially when I'm doing something like this, like where I'm drawing or talking or both. Spinning the wheel. Looks like we're gonna have a frog eating French fries. I'm gonna spend a little bit more time on this one. This little French fry eating frog. Oops, I thought I turned you off. There we go. So I'm gonna come in here. Let's grab our pencil and our pink sketchy color. And I think I'm going to start with a little frog, circle frog butt. Oh, I might need to do that. I hyper focus at any given time. Yeah. I also spent some time today helping my parents set up their smart home stuff. Actually, my smart home stuff in their home. They gave all their smart home stuff to my nephew when they moved down here because they didn't have enough internet bandwidth at the time to use it. But now that we have real internet again, they missed having a smart home. And all of my smart home stuff was just sitting in a box out here in the Greer office, not getting used. So I figured might as well set it up. Get them back into using the schedules and stuff. So little froggy legs action there. Coming up into I think a big old froggy head. And froggy head and froggy body, like frogs don't have a neck. The alarm for lunch. Yeah, that's that's what I thought you were talking about. Yeah, because I just flat out will not eat lunch if I don't remember to. So it was important that I set that up. So we'll go there, and then I'll draw in a little froggy shoulders and a little froggy arm action, holding a little box of French fries, maybe like that, yeah. And then I think I'll come over here and super long French fry like that. And frog hand like that. And then let's see, we gotta figure out how I'm gonna do this big frog mouth. And I think, well, put the eyes up here all Kermit style. And then maybe something like this. And that tongue. Oh, yeah. Frog tongue coming out and hooking onto that French fry. So maybe something a little like this. This is kind of real rough. I think I can clean this up a little bit. I love frogs. I think they are just so neato. I even have a frog tattoo. That's awesome. I don't like frogs are cool. They're not an animal I think about that often. I should probably think more about frogs. My general thought of frogs in the form of cartoon frogs is that Naruto, the protagonist of the anime Naruto, is his summoning jutsu is he summons frogs. They're mafia frogs. They're like the Yakuza. So, you know, that's kind of the way I think. Let's see. I want big frog lips. So I'm going to start with the mouth. That's what I think is the best use of the time here. And we'll go, I think. And then, of course, Kermit. The other aspect, he ordered those extra fries with flies. Yes. Of course, the other side of anytime I think of frogs, I think of Kermit T. Frog. Kermit T. Frog here. That's not a very good Kermit voice. Kermit T. Frog here. My Kermit voice isn't there tonight. Part of that is because I've had a little bit of congestion in exactly the type of way that makes me sound super awesome. Like in a world where vampires buy sports cars, I've been having way too much fun with some voice work stuff. I can imitate. That's the way I am. I can imitate Kermit sometimes. Like, it's not consistent. I guess a part of me also thinks of Frog and Toad. Like, that's a Mr. Frog and Mr. Toad. And I'm gonna give him. I did those slug eyes the other day, kind of like this, and I really liked them. So I'm gonna kind of do something similar with this frog eye. I like it a lot. I think it was cute in my mind. I like cute. Cute is where I butter my bread, so to speak. That's what the people pay me for. Okay. Just clean up some of this little line art like this. Just keep it clean as we go along. It was pretty close to Ernie. Well, thank you. I'm pretty sure they were both Frank Oz, or was that Jim Henson? It's hard to tell with, I know Jim Henson was the original voice of Kermit. Kind of assumed it was the same person, but I didn't know for sure. I don't know now. I'm pretty sure that Kermit was Jim Henson. And I think Fozzie Bear was Frank Oz. I've seen this video clip from, it's like the 70s, and it's Fozzie and Kermit having an existential crisis because basically Kermit points out to Fozzie that he is a puppet and has a person controlling him. And it is the two people in that clip are Jim Henson and Frank Oz. But I couldn't tell you for sure who's doing which one, but I feel like it's Jim Henson doing Kermit and Frank Oz doing Fozzie. And it's going to wrap the tongue all like this. Wait, do frog tongues come to a snaky point, or are they rounded? Yeah, I love that clip. I had to look up frog tongue. Frog tongue. The things I look up while I'm drawing. Frog tongues are gross. It looks like frog tongues are in fact round. Oz is Fozzie. Okay. See, that's when the robots look at your search history, they're gonna be like, oh, yeah, this human was normal. Looking up which voice actor played which puppeteer played which Muppet. That's normal behavior. My robots could be like, no, mine was looking up frog tongue. That's what my human was looking for. Do frogs? What does a frog tongue look like? And that's not, frog tongues are more blobby in real life. Yeah, that's what I'm like, man, they're kind of gross looking. They look like bubble gum kind of. It's bad enough that the robot already knows that I've Googled how many calories are in a human. So I'm going to draw in my box of French fries first, and then put the hand around it, and then draw the arm to connect to the hand. That's the my search history's all over the place. I wrote urban fantasy for a while, and I've Googled some really weird stuff because of that. And I was at one point, I really wanted to write. I'll tell you the idea that came to my head, but I could never come up with a good storyline. Like, I had a good concept, I felt, but not a good story. And like, you can't just write a book on a concept. It was basically the idea was, what if you had a urban fantasy magical version of Burn Notice? What called for the need to know our caloric content. In the urban fantasy series I was writing, I had a character that was basically a Wendigo. I had used the Wendigo myth at least as the basis. So in my urban fantasy series, there are different orders of magic users who specialize in different things. And the main character is in a magical order that specializes in the ability to absorb and redirect magical energy. And a story that I don't think it, I can't remember which book it was in. I think it's in the one that never actually got published. I think it's in the one that never got put out. The idea was that you had a character who was that kind of magician who was fueling magic using the life force of people, because they're not supposed to use the actual living life of a person to fuel their abilities. Like, it's a taboo, and nobody knows, like, the reason it's a taboo is because if you do it, you can become a Wendigo. And so the character had become a Wendigo. And what I really needed to know was a handful of things, because I was trying to match up the mythology. So I needed to know not only like how many calories were in a person, but how much energy it took to flash freeze a room, because Wendigo give off a cold signature and like will freeze things. So like when she fed, she also like froze the entire room. So I had to know how many calories were in a person. So how many calories she could turn into joules of electricity, basically. I was like, literally, like, if you used humans as a food source, and then that food source you turned into lightning, how powerful would that be? It's surprisingly good. Humans have the exact same calories as pork, by the way. All meat basically has the same stuff. That makes sense. I believe that if our searches are being monitored, that didn't seem so strange after this amount of time. Maybe not. I mean, there's a lot of context to my weird searches. That definitely, like, Google would have. Thank you, by the way, on the froggy toes. I like them a lot, and I like these fingers. I'm actually going to go back and redo the fingers on the other hand, redraw them to match these fingers, because I like these fingers so much. And that's a thing that comes out. That's why I like doing these sketches first before I ink. So I have the same. I screwed up this holding these French fries the same way I did. I screwed up the holding the French fries the same way I screwed up holding the cell phone on the ADHD Gremlin. I forgot there is depth to the side of the box. So maybe a little something more like that. Really, what I like about the other hand, why I like the other hand better, is this cool bend that it's got going on, but that is the position of holding the French fry. So like that, and then come in here and we'll just draw in some French fries sticking up out of this box. like so. So yeah, the one that the concept that I really liked that I never found a story for was something that had me looking up like more stuff like bombs and explosives and things. And that was the idea of like a burn notice set in a magical universe. So like I actually created the character and the situation that would set up the story, but then I had a hard time actually like I'm not I guess I don't read enough thrillers is my problem. I need to do more research. Because I like detective stories, so doing an urban fantasy noir style detective was a lot easier than doing a urban fantasy spy thriller. Okay, I like this frog. I gave him a little watch. I don't know why I gave him a little watch, but I did, and it's just part of the frog's personality now. I really like it. I think it looks good. I'm going to make him a little bigger, make a little froggy bigger. And then we will do that. Let's ink it in. Let's ink it in nice and tight. And I think one of the things I want to do, I think I want, oops, go back. I think I'm going to do this French fry again. That's way too straight of a line for a French fry. French fries should not be straight. Based on the tongue wrapped around the fry, I wonder if he has difficulty with curly fries. Maybe that's a possibility, but I feel like he would just wrap the tongue would just get wrapped around the curly fry too. Just gonna pull around, just make it a little wavy, little wavy fry. And then I'm just going to do you like that. And I want to make this tongue actually like whiter coming across like that. Bloop. And doop. Doop. I like this. This is cute. This is fun. Thank you for putting this on the prompt list. This is a fun drawing. He looks tongue fry. Everything I know about frog biology tells me that frog tongues naturally wrap around things like bullwhips. That's everything I know about frog tongue biology. Is that frog tongues are basically genetic or just attached bullwhips built into their face. Obviously, I know a lot about frog biology. I studied some Google images for all of a few seconds before I went, that looks way too gross to stare at too much longer. And close the window. I like this frog. Hello, Hooded Squirrel. How are you doing tonight? I hope you're having a good evening. Thank you for joining us. We are drawing a frog eating French fries off of the wheel of requests. So that's what's going on right now. Bring that eyelid back. Yeah, I like that. I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's cute. It makes me happy. I just got home from Mayo Clinic. How are you doing? Are you doing better? Did they have answers for you? I know you were kind of stressed the other day about not having any answers, so hopefully they were able to get you some. You were there for 2 weeks. Wow. I'm sorry that you were there that long. Unless they got your answers, yes and no. Well, that sounds a little frustrating, but move in the right direction at least. Should I do a Muppet hinge? Do frogs have Muppet hinges? Again, Kermit the Frog is my reference. I go back January 25th for another week. Wow. That's a lot. Um, I'm sorry that you're going through that. I'm glad that you're. It seems like you might be making some progress though, so that's good. Yeah, Kermit would. Yes, that's why I have to ask because I'm like, Kermit definitely has a flap in the fold, a crease in the back of the mouth. And my frog reference image here, I can't see the back of its mouth. It's covered in gross, weird looking tongue. Officially diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Well, it sucks that you have fibromyalgia, but I'm glad that you are got a diagnosis, that you have something you can work with at least. Yeah. See, that's the ticket. Just like that. Bloop, bloop. Again, don't know why I gave the frog a watch. It was not part of the prompt, but frogs need to know how to tell time too. A long time ago, back when America's Funniest Home Videos was like the #1 show in the country. It is a start, yes. I can't remember. There was a rival show and they did skits. It was like amateur skits. I cannot remember the name of it. The name of it really isn't that important for this story. What's important is that I have this clear memory of a skit about a frog like leaving the pond and trying to like start a small business, and all it had is this little object, like this little gold object, and the frog was like a puppet frog in the skit, like a stuffed frog, even not even like necessarily a puppet. And it was like a little gold like thimble or something. And the whole sketch, the whole skit, the whole thing was this frog like trying to get a bank loan and doing all this stuff, and it like going round and round and round. And finally, the bank person who was helping the frog, whose name was Patty Jack, went and saw their manager and was like, all he has for collateral is this little thing. And the bank manager was like, don't you know what that is? That's a knick-knack. That's a knick-knack, Patty Jack. Give that frog a loan. That was the whole thing. That's why I told that story. It lives in my head rent-free, as the youths used to say. There's still so much that doesn't line up with that, like all of facial numbing and the swollen lymph nodes in my head. Well, it's a start. It gets you started in one direction, you know? If you can get your start in one direction, the next thing you know, you're going to be right there in New Kids on the Block. Yeah, I made that joke. My jokes are topical and with it. I have the Riz. All the kids say so. I think I'm going to draw this foot in like this first. Again, this is the shape of these frog leg feet because this is how Kermit's feet would be shaped in my mind. I clearly need to take a amphibian anatomy class. Or not. This could just be the way frogs are supposed to be. Best viewers, huh? Let's oh, I can't. Apparently I can't moderate from OBS. I need to open the Twitch dashboard. But I must be getting famous. Must be getting famous. I have spam in my chat now. Come on. This is why Paramin is supposed to be here. He's supposed to mod for me. There we go. Put you back over there. I should have banned that robot, but it's too late now. Or appoint mods. Well, he is an appointed mod. Do you want to be a mod? I don't like just like making people be mods. I like with like if they want to volunteer, I can make them a mod. How do I make you a mod? Yeah, that's what I need to do. Thank you for volunteering to help me. I'm not used to having enough people in my chat for robots to come at me. Okay, let's see. What was I working? I was working on Frogfoot. So yeah, I feel like I could take a class on amphibian anatomy and learn how to actually draw a frogfoot. Or I could choose to live in my better reality where all frogs are actually made of felt. You'll see some fun additions for me. Cool. I do have a bot set up and it does have a block list. I don't know for sure exactly what all is on it, but it has some of those like free followers or buy follower, you know, those things like that on the block list. Obviously that one got through. But mostly I set up my bot so if people wanted to play bot games, they could. And at the time I was trying to set it up so that I could spin the wheel from the bot and or have people let people add stuff to the wheel from the bot. And I haven't 100% figured out how to do all of that yet. Because the one I was watching on how to do it uses like macros in the Elgato to do it, and I don't have an Elgato Stream Deck, so I don't have Elgato macros. So I figure something else out. I figure some auto hotkey or something. I'll gladly be a mod if a different time calls for it as well. Okay. I will happily mod you. I don't like to voluntold people. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want people to feel like they have to do it, or if they like, you know, if they don't want the responsibilities. Mod at Triceratops. I got modded on Paramon's channel and there wasn't much conversation. It was just say, "Hey, you're now responsible for this." And I was like, "The power, unlimited sword power." Because you get a little sword next to your name when you're a mod. Just beware, a wall of green swords is a tad unwelcoming. Yeah, I can imagine. All right. This is some line art on our frog here. I'm not entirely sure if the frog should have this little white belly, but I'm drawing it back in anyway. Little frog belly. Oops, I don't like that. Like this. Yeah, like that. Little frog belly. Little frog belly. I screwed something up. There we go. Like that. And one more line right there. Yay! All right, I like it. This frog looks great. This frog is awesome. I just wanna sit here and eat my French fries. Hey Chet, can I have some from French fries? I've lost my Kermit voice. It's gone forever. It might come back on its own someday, but I'm not gonna be able to find it just by looking. All right. So clearly, we'll start by just making the pupils and the nostrils black, because that's, you know, how frogs work. And then obviously the French fries are in a red French fry container, and the French fries themselves have to be golden brown, yellow here. Okay, I have to tell you guys this. I have a comment on one of my daily zombie videos on TikTok, and it's made me very, very sad. And it made me feel very, very old, because in the video, it's just the one that is like the zombie's head. It's like, "Hey, Mr. Zombie, what's going on inside your head?" And then it zooms in through the pupil, and it has a little dancing zombie, and he's humming Tom's Diner, and the caption says "Humming Tom's Diner." So I'm just going and the comment that made me sad was, "What's Tom's Diner?" And I was like, man, am I that old? Surely Tom's Diner is a classic song that all of the youths know about. I will fix that in a second. I don't want his little belly to be this same shade of green. I want it to be a different shade of green. I want it to be a lighter shade of green. Bloop. like that. Oh, and also this hand should be green. I like this little frog a lot. It makes me happy to have drawn it. Like, everyone in the chat at least knows what I mean when I say Tom's Diner as a song, right? It's like the songs of your youth playing at the grocery store. A little bit, but I'm like, I can accept that I am old, but like, so old that clearly like Tom's Diner is not just any song, right? Like, it's a fairly famous song. It is. This is what I explained to my father, who is an old man yelling at clouds. Tom's Diner is an important song historically, not necessarily because of the song itself, but it is the song that was used for creating the MP3 encoding for the compression algorithm, for the MP3 compression algorithm. So it's like historically an incredibly important song. Yes. The one that was sampled many times. Yes, sampled so many times. It's probably one of the most sampled songs out there. And it's like, I'm like, and also I am doing that in the video. I'm doing it in my zombie voice, so it's and then because he's doing the exact same dance I did with the rubber arm zombie, it says I need to learn a new dance. I thought it was a great video. Yeah. As I slowly pour the milk. Also, Tom's Diner is a real place. It's actually called Tom's Restaurant, but it is a fairly famous New York landmark, apparently. I'm not sure how I want to do the shadow on this frog's face. I do know I want to put some shadow under the mouth and on the tongue. So we'll go ahead and do some tongue shade. And runner. I just think the kids these days, they're not getting a good education. Because they don't know the weird, obscure pop cultural things I want them to know. I think I'm going to put this shade right here. And I'm going to keep pretending that this frog is a Muppet. And assume that it has basically the same shapes as any other Muppet. And that's how I'm going to do the shading on it. I think that's going to serve me well. And it will look good. Go there. Go there. Shade there. Thank you. Tongue shade sounds like another way of saying talking. Okay, shit about someone. We can say shit. This is a PG-13 stream. Actually, I don't know if anyone's noticed, but since I moved to Twitch, we don't really have the 8-year-olds come in all the time to ask about Roblox and Sonic the Hedgehog creepypasta. So, you'd probably get away with being a little less strict on the PG-13. rating. I still don't. I think it's probably best to just stay PG-13 and not like go full blown R all the time. But we can probably be a little less controlling about it. Although at the same time, man, kind of miss those little kids coming and asking me to draw their Roblox and their Sonic creepypastas because they were good for engagement. Laughing at your own jokes is a sign that you're crazy and not very funny. That's what I tell all my friends. Do, 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 do. Okay, over. Just gonna try to shade some French fries. Shade the French fries. Do, 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 do. I have frozen things up. I didn't even think about that until you mentioned it. I mean, anytime you want to draw an assassin squirrel, I can put it on the wheel. I drew one before, but I've also drawn definitely close to probably getting close to 5,000 hours more drawing time under my belt now than the last time I drew an assassin squirrel. So I'm willing to give it another shot. Yeah, yummy French fries. What are the chances that this frog is Cajun? Like, I don't know French fries. Mm-hmm. French fried taters. Mm-hmm. That's more Sling Blade than Cajun, but it feels right. That's this frog's voice. Definitely has a mm-hmm. French fried potatoes. Mm-hmm. And blammo. Oh, I like it. I think it looks good. Yeah, I'll put Assassin Squirrel on the list on the wheel, and if we spin it, we'll draw it. That's how I roll. I mean, I get Cajun seasoned fries when I can. It could be assumed, right? I feel like frog ethnicity is also a given. Like, if you see a frog, you have to assume that frog is at least French. Like, that's a little bit of a nationalist thing to say, but like, oh no, I missed coloring in part of his toeses. Did I miss coloring in these toeses too? I did. Look at me not coloring in frog toes. Like, if frogs weren't all French, we wouldn't say that, right? Like, that's just the way science works. It's not the way science. It's not the way science works. All right. Okay, there we go. What do you think? I assume swamp people accent. Jig 'em, shoot 'em, shoot 'em. French frog eating French fries. Je mange la frite. Répète, répète. Je mange les frites. Repeat. Yeah, with extra flies. You come in here. While I'm here, I got extra. Merge you down a little, and we'll come in a new layer, and we'll just like draw in some little Yeah, dudes. Like so. Maybe a little one like here. Like maybe these flies are like, ha, if the frog eats the fries instead of the flies, we'll be safe. And he's like, I'm luring you in. There we go. I like that. I like that a lot. That is very cute. That is an animal geek. All right. What time is it? It is 8:23. So we have about enough time to draw one more drawing. So we've got our frog eating fries. Il est français. I don't know the French word for frog. I used to know it. I don't remember it. I can't remember it off the top of my head at the moment. I know pig, le cochon. Le cochon! Il n'est pas un cochon. Il est un frog. Il mange les frites. Les frites et le French fries. Les pommes de terre français. French potatoes. Je prends le français. And then we've got this one of our beach aliens. So we've done 2 drawings so far tonight. Let's go ahead and hit the wheel again. And I am going to come to the wheel. Whoa! The wheel reloaded. We're going to come to the wheel list here. And I am going to add Assassin Squirrel. Is now on the wheel. So it's possible that it comes up. In fact, it's equally possible as everything else. So just recapping what is on the wheel for anyone who missed it at the beginning of the stream. I have added my actual art projects that I'm working on to the wheel. So the requested objects on the wheel right now is a roller skating or skateboarding zebra. That's an audience request. Bird nerd number 5 is audience request. Assassin Squirrel is an audience request. So those are the audience requests on the list. Also on the list is the next creature in my 100 creatures challenge. I'm revisiting the Suitness 100 creatures challenge. I do it every few years, just kind of as a measure of how far I've gone. And because let's face it, I like to draw cute monsters doing weird stuff. Today I did a picture of a werewolf who was wearing a tuxedo with a untied bow tie and singing lounge songs. He's a lounge lizard crooner werewolf. You can check that out on my socials if you want to see that. It's on all of them. And then we've got a beach alien. The beach aliens are part of the art print for the December Patreon rewards. And I just got to draw like 800,000 of them. So I'm just going to keep it on there and draw a bunch of them. And then the final thing on here is a wild card slot. And I have a few things in my Obsidian notebook that are just projects that I'm working on that if I hit a wild card, I'll work on one of those. It's probably gonna be a zombie. So without further ado, let's spin the wheel. Spin, 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 spin. Frog is Grignol. 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 Le Grignol. Oh, it's bird nerd number 5. It's our final bird nerd. So those of you who are not keeping up with the bird nerd saga, bird nerd was put on the list as something that a person who comes and spends a lot of time hanging out with me at the market really wanted to see. And I thought it was on the list 5 times because I like to do 5s in my sticker packs. And I thought bird nerd would be a good sticker pack. Thus far in the bird nerd world, we have had 4 bird nerds. And I'll just go ahead and pop those up on the screen and show you. So we have Jean-Yves, Jacques. We have a Yu-Gi-Oh bird nerd. Was a fan of collectible card games. We've got a classic nerd bird nerd who's wearing a little pie shirt, carrying some books, little math bird nerd. These are all inverted horizontally for some reason, but I'm gonna share them anyway. A little fantasy sports bird nerd, checking his stats, checking his scores. And the final bird nerd was done on the last stream. Is a little astrology bird nerd. So the question becomes, what is our 5th and final bird nerd's nerd type gonna be? I think it's open for some discussion. What type of nerd do you want the bird to be? My natural inclination is to go real classic nerd here. Maybe some Steve Urkel, cosplay bird nerd, astronomy. I said astronomy. Did I say astrology? Did I say what did I say? Did I say the wrong one? I think we need a lab nerd. Superhero comics bird nerd? It was almost bird watching bird nerd. It was. Okay. I'm just gonna try sketching in a little. Might have to do another bird nerd sticker pack. I wasn't going to say anything. You said astrology. I wasn't going to say anything. I feel bad. All right. Little face action. We got so many ornithology bird nerd. So many good ideas for a bird nerd. I think I'm gonna go with a science bird nerd. I do like drawing a lab coat. I think that is a fact about me that I am comfortable to admit, having done a bunch of them now. So, but what I don't want to do, in the past, I have relied heavily on beakers and test tubes and things. They are similar enough words that it is very easy to mix them up. Bill Bird, the science nerd. I've already done Bill Nye. I did a Bill Nye Lab Rat. So I don't want to do. I've already done a Lab Rat. Lab coat and beakers. I was going to go a different route, but I guess I'll go lab coat and beakers. That's what give the people what they want. So, like that. Big old feather wing hand. Lab coat. Lag. What if it's a Bunsen burners? Bunsen burners. Yeah, I do Bunsen burner. We'll give him a little. I got this idea. I got an idea. We're gonna mix it up a lot. So like we've given a bunch of them extra props. So what if we give this one a little like lab display thing, like a science teacher would have, and then we could have a little Bunsen burner with a little jar on it. Little flames like that, little steam, and we maybe give them one of the little things that you pour out of, and one of those things where you have to measure the parabola when you're trying to measure water. It's got the little depth thingy in it, you know. And you know what? I think someone the other day asked me to draw an owl, and I don't think I've done an owl yet. So maybe we'll do an owl, and we'll just be like big owl eyes, little owl mouth bean. I'm actually gonna make these eyes even bigger, because this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do like this, which I feel like is very owlish to me. I mean, the puns are there. He is a bird, so of course he has beakers. Oh, graduated cylinder. Ah, we need to cook Jesse Gag, but with a bird reference in it. And because I want to make these eyes really big, but make these also like safety goggles. Give a hoot, don't pollute. That's my reference to how owls are drawn. Is the give a hoot, don't pollute owl. And then I don't know. I don't know what I want to do with the hand now. I know this needs to come up here and have little owl feet coming down. And I think I want some kind of pointer stick. Breaking Bird was good ideas. Yeah. Yep. It's time to cook. So it would be Walt Dowell White. I'm gonna let that float in the air for a little bit. It was either really funny or really bad, and I don't know which one yet. Will you guys be mad at me if I tell you I've never watched Breaking Bad? So a little thumb, a little pointer. There. And I don't know. I'm trying to Walter Woot. I think Walt Owl White works better. Although you could go Walt Owl Woot. Not sure how I'm feeling about this so far. Maybe we make this be a little thing. Like a little thing on a little graspy arm that he's burning above the beaker that's on fire on the Bunsen burner. And then maybe we have a little Bunsen honeydew in the background. Over here, little beaker. That's those jokes. I only watched it for a bit. It was a bit of a downer. I don't. If I'm going to do a depressing show that's going to make my feels all over the board, I like a show that's like gonna make me feel depressed in a specific way. So like Million Little Things is more my speed of depression. All right, I'm gonna start there. I'm gonna try cleaning up this line art and see what we can get out of it. Oops. New layer, please. Thank you. A 1, a 2, a 3. And we know how many calories is in the donut because it burns blue. It's a shame all they were making is uppers. Yeah, I like it. I like it when my TV shows make me cry because they're incredibly sad. Um, because fate is cruel. Not when TV shows make me cry because they're incredibly sad because capitalism is the bad guy. I don't need those reminders in my life. By the way, if you've never seen Million Little Things, I watched it because I'm a big fan of James Roday Rodriguez, who was Sean Spencer on Psych. And I thought, oh, I like this. I like a lot of his work. It's all very funny. But Million Little Things is a TV show that in the very first episode, the very opening of the very first episode, one of the people that you think is a main character is an actual main character in the cast, like listed as a main cast member, commits suicide. Just a trigger warning. Sorry, I should have started there. And then it gets depressing from there. So not the like funniest show ever made, but definitely super well performed and incredibly well written. Just very, very sad also. I just like the idea of having these little pinchy things holding something that this owl is going to burn. And I think I'm just going to have it be like random sample here, like that. And thumb. Holdy stick pointer. Owl hand. I am very thankful for the amount of time I spent watching the Disney afternoon because I will never question what it takes to draw a cartoon bird hand. I will always forever have it in my brain exactly how to draw a wing as a hand because I have watched so many hours of DuckTales and Darkwing Duck. And I regret nothing. I regret none of my life choices. I regret some of my life choices. But not that one. I guess I shouldn't really regret my life choices. They've led me to where I am, and I like where I am. I mean, would I like it better if I was massively wealthy? Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe I would be one of those people who is like, I don't like myself because I'm massively wealthy. Then I would just have to give all my money away and I'd be right back where I am anyway. So maybe I am happy where I am. Maybe I don't need to regret my life choices. You'd probably say I regret letting Yeti Detective make some of his life choices. That's not fair either. I didn't know him in time to stop him from going through his crow makeup phase. That was a joke. But only partially a joke because Who didn't have a weird, awkward goth phase in high school? You know? Who didn't go to the Independence Mall and make fun of the goth kids hanging outside for being posers when you went to Hot Topic? I am precisely where I need to be and haunted by precisely the demons I am meant to be haunted by. As long as there is a puzzle in a big box store, right? I guess. That's true. So Yeti Detective, you were here when I was talking about the cool board game that I played with my nephew and nieces this weekend. It's called Code Word or Passcode or something like that. But you have basically you lay out 25 cards in a 5x5 grid, and each card has a word on it, and then you play on teams, 2 teams, and there's 2 people on each team. You have a person who's giving a word and people who are guessing. And basically, if you're the spy master, you have a little grid that shows which cards are yours, and you need your teammate to identify those cards, and while avoiding like calling out your opponent's cards, or there's one card that if it gets picked, you lose automatically. And all you can say, it might be code names. Yeah. You get to say one word and how many cards on the table that word is related to. And I was really, really good at it. And I don't mind saying that because before we played that game, we played like my sister-in-law brought a bunch of puzzles from the Dollar Tree, and we did a puzzle off, and I was really, really bad at it. Paramin and I took like 10 times longer than everyone else to do our puzzle. All right. What do we think? Is this a good science teacher owl bird nerd? I'm digging it pretty much. We have that in the library at work. I've played it with my team twice. I am terrible at being the spy master. I think for me, it was like you have to know who your teammate is so that they can know the context of what you're saying. But also, what my nephew had pointed out, like the reason he thought I would be really good at it and would enjoy it, and he was right, is he's like, it's mind control. You know? So yeah, all right. I like this bird nerd. I am going to try to finish it in 15 minutes because it's about a quarter till. I am going to try to stick to right at as close to 2 hours as possible tonight. I've been trying to reset my sleep schedule so that I go to bed at a decent hour and don't stay up all night, and also don't feel super rushed to get a bunch of stuff done before I can go to bed. So I'm going to try to get off right around 9:00 my time. I think most of the people in the stream are also in the central time zone. Most people in chat are also in the central time zone. So right now it is 8:46 my time. If you're not in the central time zone and you don't know how to convert time zones. So I got right around 15 minutes left. And I'm just little goggle action. I feel pretty good about the fact that anytime I draw a scientist, I make sure that scientist has safety equipment. It was not a thing I planned by any means, but looking back on my career, so to speak, I can look at any time I've drawn a scientist, they've at least had goggles. And I feel like as a person who draws little cartoon dudes that often appeal to a young audience, that it's very responsible of me, and I should be applauded for encouraging our children to wear their safety equipment when working in a lab. I feel like I'm doing my part. Mr. Rogers would be happy with me. I also, that was something I did this weekend. I came up with the concept for what is the opposite of jerk brain. PPE, that's right, personal protective equipment. I came up with the idea of what is the opposite of the jerk brain, right? And I came up with it, and I'm very proud of what I came up with. The opposite of your jerk brain is your Mr. Rogers brain. Your Mr. Rogers brain is the part of the brain that is looking out for you and is always filled with kindness. That's the opposite of your jerk brain. I thought that was a pretty good metaphor for me. So, if you're ever feeling like your jerk brain is taking over, it can't defeat your inner Mr. Rogers. As we all know from the Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny, no one can defeat Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers is the ultimate champion of all time and cannot be defeated. So, whenever you're being mean to yourself, like I was doing earlier, just say, jerk brain, you're going to have to contend with Mr. Rogers brain, and your Mr. Rogers brain will come in and kick jerk brain in the butt and remind you to take care of yourself and be a kind person who helps. Might even invite you into the swimming pool to cool your feet. When your brain will always be your neighbor. That's right. A good neighbor. I personally subscribe to the Rogersism theory that Mr. Rogers' the last broadcast of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood was August 30th, 2001. And everything has been worse since then. Mr. Rogers was the force of good on the Mr. Rogers is the Earth's Tom Bombadil. If you don't get that reference, I don't know how to explain it. Tom Bombadil is the elemental force of good in the world of the Lord of the Rings. He's not really a angel or anything, like he's not a Maiar or anything. He's just the elemental force of good. His existence is the existence of good in the world. And I feel like Mr. Rogers was that for us for a long time. In the parlance of Deadpool and Wolverine, Mr. Rogers was our linchpin character. And I miss him. And now I have Tom's Diner stuck in my head again. That entire video came into existence because I had Tom's Diner stuck in my head. And I thought if I made a video that got it stuck in someone else's head. It wouldn't have to be stuck in my head again. And then I brought it back to myself. Do 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 do. Also, I figured out that if I just kind of make up my own songs, you should went down a huge nerd vortex. You sure went down a huge nerd vortex. I do that. That's what I do. I wish I could say that was unusual behavior for me, but it's not. I'm sorry that I got it stuck in your head too. But that was kind of my intention. I mean, if you get stuck in someone else's head, then you get it out of your head. That's the rule. Yeah, that's I think one of the reasons I will never be a successful like YouTuber is because like I hear the concept of like you have to be super focused on your niche, and I was like, I will never be that. Because I just hit like 8 different fandoms in one sentence. And the algorithm doesn't appreciate that. I don't know exactly when it started, but in my group chat with Yeti Detective and one of our other friends, we started referring to the algorithm as Algor's Rhythm a couple years ago, I think. It's been at least a couple years. I don't know, again, I don't know how or why we started doing it. We just did. And I saw a reference to Al Gore's Rhythm in the wild on Blue Sky the other day and was like, I don't know this person. How are they stealing my words? But it also made me pretty happy to see something like that in the wild. I'm hoping that Jerkbrain catches on in the wild also, especially because I found out at Sippin' Shop there is in Springfield a high school guidance counselor who bought a copy of my Don't Believe Your Jerkbrain print and keeps it in her office and points to it when she's talking to students who are having jerkbrain. So I'm hoping it catches on globally. I hope Jerkbrain will become a huge hit. And then I'll sue everyone who uses it until I'm rich. That was a joke. I didn't trademark anything. I can't sue anybody. I'm bad at business. I am probably putting way too much effort into drawing these instruments on this table thing here. But, you know, it is Wednesday night. You know what we're gonna do. Speaking of it is Wednesday night. So thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me. Be like Disney. That's right. Disney. Someday I will be so powerful that I'll sue Disney out of existence. I wonder if Disney owns the right to a Disney AI. Not like an AI that's trained to draw like Disney, but like literally Walt Disney as a robot. That's a thought that's going to go down a rabbit hole later. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me tonight. I really appreciate you being here. As I finish this up, as I color in this owl. I will be back on Friday I am feeling significantly better now than I was Monday night. That migraine was killer on Monday. It put me down hard. I was still yesterday feeling pretty puny afterwards. It was pretty bad. Pretty bad. I will be back. So I will be back on Friday. I stream Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 7 p.m. If you are in the greater Springfield, Missouri area this upcoming weekend, and you're looking for something awesome to do, or just wanna hang out, maybe find some great unique Christmas gifts that you can't get anywhere else in the entire world, you should swing by the C Street Market on Saturday from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. A lot of really cool artists, artisans, crafters, people making awesome stuff will be there. It's a 100% free market. You don't have to pay anything to get in. Come on down and hang out. We have a good time. It's like a little party. They're real good people. I'll be there too with my stuff. Of course, if you want to get my stuff and you can't get to the C Street Market in Springfield, Missouri this Saturday or any Saturday until the 21st of December through the 21st of December, you can head over to TacoVikingStudios.com, where almost all of my prints are available, and I am working on updating the store and getting a lot more stuff in stock and on the website so you can order it. Makes me think of Robot Chicken. Wasn't there a head of Disney combined with a robot in that show? I think so. Hungering for the flesh of a small child, if memory serves correctly. So you could head over and see what all is going on in the store. Pick up your favorite art print of mine. And if you would like to support the channel in other ways, I would love it if you would subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just Taco Viking Studio on YouTube. Of course, you can follow me on all of the social medias out there. I'm all over the place. I'm on the Tickety Talks and the Instagrams and the Blues Sky. All of those links are on the Twitch channel page. So yeah, come and hang out. And of course, I guess it would be wrong for me to go through an entire stream and have talked about the Patreon, but not actually like invited people to check it out. Head over to patreon.com/Taco Viking Studios. Patreon rewards are a big deal to me. I do my best to make them as awesome as possible for my patrons. I have 3 tiers on my Patreon. One is just a way for you to say thanks to me and support me on my journey to being a full-time independent illustrator. Yeah, have a good night. Take off while you can. I'm just finishing up this art and kind of rambling at this point. There's 3 tiers. There's a thank you tier that just is monetary support. I really appreciate you on that. And then there's a tier that gets a sticker pack each month. I do basically a sticker for every single Saturday, plus a sticker of the month every month for my Patreon members. And there is a tier that gets that sticker pack plus an art print, an 8x10 art print every month. And the 8x10 art print pack is, their level is the same amount as what I would normally sell one art print for. So it's a really good deal. So head over to patreon.com/Taco Viking Studios to check that out. I would appreciate that. I appreciate you guys hanging out, having a good time. I think I'm going to call this pretty close to being done. I will finish up this shading tomorrow because, again, trying to hold my sleepy time schedule. Thank you for coming and hanging out. I've had a really good time. I hope you all join me again on Wednesday. Have a wonderful, or on Friday, have a wonderful Wednesday evening. Have a wonderful Thursday day. Have a great Friday until Friday evening. I hope I will see you again. Thank you for coming and hanging out. And as always, remember to stay weird. Thanks for watching.